Okay, so I'm back to do the actual lining of this piece. But nothing in it, but this would be a lining, buckskin lining. So there's a video on how to do the buckskin lining. So first of all, you actually need a template pattern. It's not going to be the exact same size of this. It's actually a ½ inch shorter, maybe a little more. But it's shorter because once you fold it in half, actually it's a different fabric than this. It needs space in between the beaded section itself. So when this is put together here and here, you can see, well, let me get this lined up right. There's actually a little gap in between it at the bottom. That gap's very important because that's where you're going to tuck your zipper under to hide the zipper, and you want to be able to feel it on the inside. So you need that little cavity there for to tuck your zipper in. But I'll get to that once I get to that portion. But this part is about making this lining section. Like I said, it's ½ inch shorter. What you need is your graph paper. Same template as before. You want to do a center line. Mark over 2½ inches, 2½ inches, or however wide your coin purse, however you're making is. Remember your dimensions. I know this is 4½ inches wide by 8 inches. So 4 inches wide. Then I'm going to come up across this way. I'm going to go up not 4 inches, or not, not 4 inches, but 3 3/4. So take a inch off the top with a 1/4 inch off this side. And then I'll get my compass, because this is what I use for make that line, which is 4½ inches. And I'll mark the center. Actually, I'll center this, center that, and make my mark there. So 3/4, go down, 3/4. Oh, that's very close. Hold on a mark, hold it in the center. This is why it's pointing to mark the center. Like that. So you have your 2 marks, mark of that, then your 2½ inches, this line here, and that line there, and that line there. So we want to go around that, mark it all out, and hang your template cut out, which I already did here. This is the template I made for my lining. I haven't marked for my template, so this will be a template for, what did I say, 4x8 coin purse. So this piece you'll actually keep around, unlike the actual coin purse section you make. That will actually be used to be beaded on, and it's kind of hard to make a piece and replicate it again. But this piece you can actually make it, put it on some stock or cardstock and cut it out, so then you actually have it. Just make a hole somewhere and you can hang it up on the wall and save it for later. But this is just quick. But once you have that down, you actually get your buckskin. You have, mine's kind of rough and fuzzy, but it's actually quite thick. So it can take some abuse. That's why it looks rough, because I want it to be strong and sturdy, or strong enough to be abused. So I like the fuzzy side on the inside, or whatever side you want to use on the inside, use that. Put that part face down and throw your template over the top and just mark out in little corner marks. Put your edge as exactly you need it, and use your ruler to do your straight edge. But whatever you use to cut it, just use, like me, I normally put a mark on top at that point and that point, and just run my ruler right along it and put a mark there. Either you can use some really good scissors, some of you have some really good Fisker scissors, or if not, then you can use your X-Acto knife. like so. But make sure you're keeping yourself safe and not really going too much. Some of you guys cut along here and mark it and cut along there. Scrub a few times. Don't be cutting on your wood surface. Use a cutting mat, which I do keep my mats around as well. But once you get that cut and you have your piece made, you'll have your piece made and it'll fit inside here. It'll be a 1/2 inch shorter just to fit inside here. I would say just put together now, but in doing that, you're actually going to have a flimsy piece where it can actually crumble and fall apart, actually squish under its own weight. And we don't really want that because, hey, we want something that you actually hold and feel solid, especially on the sides. So, I actually on my, sorry for the noise. Actually, for my lining, I have this mark here. You can see that mark there is for making a plastic template to go inside here in the center. So I mark it up top and here, and I mark it just above that center line where it's to fold, and gives me enough space from the top and bottom to make myself a plastic reinforcement piece to go on the sides here, so I can keep my sides actually firm and stiff. So once I have that line cut, I'll get a piece of plastic. For me, it's actually a yard sale sign or for sale sign, and I put my template over it. So this is a marking I did for something else, and here I actually mark it, and I trace it outside here, mark the center here, mark here for those two lines, flip this around, and I line that up here with that mark and trace that out the other side, which gives me the 2 halves of each section. And then you just roughly cut it out. I don't have any other scissors here, so I'll use the scissors. So I cut it to general shape. I know it's 4.5 inches wide, but I will go through right now and cut this to the shape. It needs to have the rough general shape of your piece. So I'll cut it in half. I usually keep them butted together like this, but I don't want to put this right against it because I'm going to be sewing onto this. So I need a little gap around the edge to sew around and around that beadwork. So I get my pencil and roughly take like an 1/8 inch off both sides. Run a mark down both sides like that, and one quick movement, make a mark, and it gives me my 1/8 inch spacing for both sides to take off. And now I'll have to make another template for making this. And just cut it in half, and then I have both halves made. So as you can see, actually, it's going to go on the back side of this. I'm not going to, any glue work I do, it's going to be on this lining. Any glue I add, it's going to be to this lining itself. So I'll center it into the middle of this, and the center of this, like that. Just so it gives me a nice stitch edge all the way around. But that looks actually a little close. So I'm actually going to take a bit more off. I've done this long enough where I need to actually, I know how much space to keep between each piece. I need to at least have over 1 inch. So right now it's under 1 inch. So I'm going for roughly 1.25 inch spacing, just to allow the piece to have that bottom flexible and move around. If I have it too stiff, then it's going to give it a square bottom and really rough edge is not going to give me that really nice round curve I'm looking for at the bottom here. To actually push on and make it look weird. So I took a little more off. And this is the part here before you glue everything and you can adjust everything you need. So that's how it is. I'm going to get my glue real fast, find it, and I'll come back to this and show you how the assembly process goes from here to here.